Hey everyone, how's it going? Doug here, and it's been almost 5 months now. I think April 21st was the last video that I uploaded on this channel, and a lot's been going on since then. I want to use this video to give you an update about what's been happening, where I've been, what's coming up in the future. So if we rewind to April, back when I uploaded that last video, I was writing Revelations at the same time, and the work that I put into Revelations, the chapters that I wrote, I really wasn't happy with. I thought I was going down the right path, but I wasn't. And the way that characters were acting, the way that scenes were unfolding, I just didn't like it at all. So I decided to scrap it. And that was a difficult decision because there's a lot of work put into that. And there were some tidbits that I saved, but most of it was just, Thanos snapped into oblivion. And then kind of after that, I went silent on social media and in emails and here as I focused all of my attention on Revelations because there's a lot of ground to make up and I really wanted to get it out for everybody that was expecting it in the summer, which was my initial release schedule. But as you can tell, it's now September and there's no second book out in Shadow's Advent, so that's what we're here for. So if you're watching this the day that it went up, it's been a few days now since I put out a couple pictures on social media. Boom, boom. And if you don't follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, the links are down below, and that's where people found out that A, book 2 is called Revelations, and B, I finished it just last week. So I kind of want to talk about, now that it's done, what are the next steps until it's in your hands, until you can read it. So after I finished Revelations, there's a long weekend here in Canada, and I just took that time to... I'm actually filming this video during the long weekend, and it's part of my remove myself from the writing. I really need to get my head out of the space that it was in when it was writing Revelations so I can look at it with a clean slate. Then I'm going to take the next week or so to polish it up, read through it, iron out the kinks that I know exist, and kind of rewrite a few paragraphs or scenes that really need some TLC, just to make it the book that I want it to be. And then following that, we're going to send it out to some beta readers. Now, for those that don't know, beta readers are people that I entrust the manuscript to get their feedback on to help make it better. And beta readers for Archangel in particular were crucial in making it the book that it is. It actually, Archangel and Revelations used to be the same book, with the part that is now Revelations getting about 2 chapters, and it was beta readers that said, Doug, make it a second book. So that's what happened. So I'm really looking forward to the beta feedback. And beta readers are, readers that are engaged with me, that I've discussed Archangel with quite a bit. There are some patrons over on Patreon. Some of those patrons over there get the opportunity to beta read if it fits into their schedule. And some fellow writers who are in the same kind of genre and whose writing I admire or look up to and whose opinions I value quite a bit. So for anyone watching this that is a patron over on Patreon, you'll be getting an email this week outlining what happens during beta reading. And then if that's something that you want to be a part of, you shoot me an email back or respond back on Patreon, and we'll get started once I've finished polishing this up. Then once the beta reading's done, I take it all back. Sometimes I get it back piece by piece, chapter by chapter. Sometimes I just get the full manuscript back at once, and I start incorporating the feedback that I think is good for Revelation. Unfortunately, not all of the feedback is going to be incorporated, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings who is beta reading, because there's a particular way that Shadow's Advent has to go, and sometimes the feedback just doesn't work, or sometimes you want to spoil something before it should be spoiled. Following that, I send it out to an editor, a copy editor, to go over the punctuation, grammar, spelling, all of the technical stuff. And a lot of you saying, well, Doug, you are an editor. But I always say to writers, readers, anyone that'll listen, you don't edit your own book. It's you're too close to the writing. It's the reason I'm taking a few days to separate myself before I go back and reread it and polish it. But I'm too absorbed in my own writing style to be able to fix my writing, if that makes sense. It makes sense if you're an editor. And then once it's done with editing, I'll get it back, incorporate those, and quickly format it into paperback form, format it into ebook, and then out into the world it goes. And so if everything goes according to schedule, then Revelation should be out late November, maybe December, before the holiday season. Fingers crossed, no hiccups, everything smooth sailing. Yeah. That's what we're aiming for. That's the goal. I'm not setting an actual date yet because there is some wiggle room in there, especially when it comes to getting beta readers and getting their feedback and getting an editor. But that's kind of the target window. So look forward to that. At the same time, while Revelations is out with beta readers, I'm going to be working on the 5th installment in the Nightshade series. And for those that don't know, Nightshade is a urban fantasy short story series that focuses on Claire, aka Nightshade, who's a monster hunter. But she's a monster herself, one that can't die, and nobody really knows what kind of freak she is. So we're bringing in the 5th installment, and that's available over on my Patreon. It's a Patreon exclusive story until the whole, quote, season's wrapped up when it gets released. So if you want access to that, you can get it for $2 per story as new stories are released, so you don't pay a dime until a story is released, and that'll get me coffee. So thank you, I appreciate that. A link to my Patreon will be down in the description. And then, most importantly, at least for the community here on YouTube, I'll be starting up my videos again pretty regularly. So I'm going to be starting things like this, sort of going through some vlogs and talking about what's on my mind and what I'm doing. I'm going to be continuing the Archangel read-along. That was the last video, and I know a lot of people have been like, Doug, where's it been? I was really following along with that and kind of need it to continue. So we'll be getting back into that. And we're going to be doing some book reviews. I actually have one that I'm filming, I don't know, maybe tomorrow. It's the weekend. I need a breath. But I'll be filming that and getting it up this week as well. So if you watch this on Tuesday, come back on Thursday, because there will be a book review of an urban fantasy witch hunting book that I think you'll like the review of. If you're watching this after Tuesday, then, click here. And yeah, that's it for now. I just wanted to swing by and give this update. I'll be more active on social media, so again, if you're not following me on those places, links are down below. Sign up for the email newsletter. You get a lot more detail about things than on social media through that, and even some sneak peeks, perhaps, once Revelation starts getting a little more polished. If you guys have any questions, comments, you're excited about anything, you have anything you want me to read for a book review, just leave it down in the comments below. I check them all the time. I'm excited to engage with you guys, and I'm really excited to get Revelations out to everyone. So thanks for stopping by. I hope everyone's staying safe during all this stuff going on in the world, and I'll see you later.